Oh, hello. Boy, 2018 has been quite the year, hasn't it? Especially for Magic the Gathering. As we draw to a close, I thought it might be interesting to reflect and examine both the good and the bad choices that our mothership, Wizards of the Coast, made in Magic the Gathering this year. This video will look at what I feel are the 5 biggest mistakes made in Magic this year, while its companion piece will examine the 5 greatest things to happen in Magic this year. That video will be posted tomorrow morning, so be sure not to miss it. Let's start with number 5, a huge, colossal mistake that I am willing to bet 90% of you watching this don't even know about, and that is part of the problem, but not the only part. I speak of a terrible mistake known as the Silver Showcase. The idea was golden, or at least silver. 8 players of Magic the Gathering will Rochester draft 3 packs each of Beta, 1 pack each of Arabian Nights, 1 pack each of Antiquities, and 1 pack each of Legends. Wow, that's an exciting pitch. But while 4 of those 8 players were from the top lifetime Pro Point earners from each geo-region at the conclusion of Pro Tour Dominaria, the other 4 were special invites, which largely centered not around established and accomplished Magic players, but among current, popular Hearthstone creators and commentators. Some of the special invites were even former Magic players who had quit Magic to go over to Hearthstone, established themselves there, and now paid handsomely to come back and draft beta packs. Thus, the Silver Showcase, by having half of its competitors be special invite top Hearthstone creators, while billed as both a Magic the Gathering nostalgia and 25-year anniversary celebration event, was actually an advertisement aimed at Hearthstone players. And these players were highly compensated for participating, as the last 4 place slots were still awarded $12,500 each. 3rd and 4th place got $20,000 each, and $25,000 and $35,000 went respectively to 2nd and 1st place. Compare that to winning a Grand Prix, which pays about $10,000, I believe. The last place competitors, and again, half of these were special invites, largely based on Hearthstone popularity, are getting more than someone would for winning a GP, and it was just like free cash to show up and draft beta packs, and this is being given to Hearthstone personalities? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm actually a huge fan and supporter of reaching out to popular content creators in other games, especially Hearthstone, as it makes a lot of sense. Bring in someone like a Moz, and a Moz brings in his viewership. If even a fraction of them stay and play Magic, it's money well spent. It's good for the game. It's even good for creators like me, because maybe those new players, those new Magic fans, will find my channel and enjoy my work. I am actually a huge supporter of reaching out to Hearthstone and other games and their creators. But not here. Because no one from Hearthstone or other gaming is going to care about their favorite Hearthstone creator drafting 25-year-old Magic cards. Want to try and bring in Hearthstone players? Show them Magic Arena, not an Arabian Nights draft. To them, those old cards are dull and poorly designed, the gameplay slow and tedious, and the interest levels 0. The people interested in a beta draft are wholly going to be Magic players, as we understand the value of the old cards, have nostalgia for them, and a full appreciation and understanding of just what is going on in such an event. To choose this event, the Silver Showcase, as a way to bring in Hearthstone players was more than tone deaf. It was demonstrative of a larger lack of understanding advertising, obliviousness to both the Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone communities, as well as taking a once-in-a-lifetime event and utterly ruining it. Indeed, many Magic players refused to even watch out of protest, and in the end, the Silver Showcase likely brought in next to no Hearthstone players, but further angered and disillusioned Magic's own player base. Or just wasted a great deal of money in a climate where there was already fair criticism of the mistreatment and mishandling of pros pros and the pro scene. But that's the Silver Showcase. Moving on to number 4 in my list of biggest mistakes this year is something that should come as no surprise to anyone. Masters 25. Masters 25 was the Masters set that looked at the player base's disappointment and frustration in iconic Masters and said, "Hold my beer." The Masters set that promised to be both a nostalgia trip throughout Magic the Gathering's 25-year history, while also containing the most needed reprints for formats such as Modern and Commander, Masters 25 did neither. While there were some nostalgia cards from the past at Common and Uncommon, and while people loved the watermark system, which featured original set symbols on cards, the card selection itself was puzzling at best. Iconic and much-needed reprint cards like Snapcaster Mage, Liliana of the Veil, even Delver of Secrets were not picked in lieu of cards such as Murder of Crows and Tree of Redemption from Innistrad, original Innistrad. This is what was in their place. Fencing Ace is not what people think of when they think of Return to Ravnica, nor Living Wish from Judgment. Force of Will, the most memorable and desired reprint card from Alliances, was not even included, but Balduvian Horde was? Who wants Balduvian Horde? Financial value was also extremely low in an already expensive set. Masters 25 holds the record, and I know this is just anecdotal, but it is the only Masters set that I could never make it to a second box in my booster box game, and I tried 3 times. Sealed boxes of it are currently, as of today, selling for $140 online, and for many, this was the set, coming mere months after Iconic Masters was released, that was the final nail in the coffin of disasters that were Masters sets. Speaking of bad reprints is probably all I have to say to give away that my number 3 pick today of biggest mistakes is Commander 2018. For years now, I have pointed to Commander Precons as one of, if not possibly the greatest pre-constructed product made by Wizards of the Coast. They have consistently been amazing value for their previously affordable price. $34.99 would get you a playable, right-out-of-the-box 100-card Commander deck filled with reprints and brand new, made just for Commander cards. I loved the product. I loved it immensely, and I still do. The decks have always been fun, powerful enough to hold their own out of the box, with clear roadmaps to upgrades and tons of pieces for those who want to strip down and rebuild or just build around one of the new Commander cards from the ground up. This has been a product for just about everyone from the very start. Experienced and new Commander players alike want to pick this up. And then Commander 2018. First, they raised the price. Why? Well, because they knew we'd pay it. They even claimed in one particular presentation that this price increase was to allow them to juice up Commander 2018 decks like never before. Instead, what we got were the lowest value Commander decks ever, with next to no reprints of any interest, and whose original made-for-Commander cards were widely considered to be repetitive, unoriginal, and uninspired. Overall, this was a huge misstep, one with lasting implications. They are never going to lower the price back to what it was. Companies just don't work that way. So now, in order for this to regain and justify itself, they not only need to reach their previously established high bar of quality and success with future Commander sets, but surpass it in order to continue to justify that price. Is 2019 the year we see Commander Precons finally come with fetch lands and other juiced up reprints thrown in? I hope so, because while 2018 made my list of biggest mistakes, I still hold out hope that 2019 will include Commander Precons as one of the biggest successes. All right, moving on to the top 2 mistakes of 2018 are indeed huge errors, in my opinion, of course, on the part of Wizards of the Coast. Things like the Silver Showcase are indeed wasted opportunities that also led to well-deserved agitation on the part of the player base, and Masters Masters 25 and Commander 2018 were more overwhelming disappointments. But these next two items, I feel, were borderline disastrous. And the worst part is, I think Wizards of the Coast might view them both as secret successes. At number 2, I would argue the combined lack of a return to masterpieces and their transformation to the Ravnica Mythic Edition was one of the top mistakes of the year. Masterpieces themselves disappeared last year after Hour of Devastation, but we were told they would return, only now it would be intermittent instead of in every set. I myself has always been conflicted about masterpieces, and I tried a lengthy open letter to Wizards of the Coast trying to explain that they were always a brilliant idea but with bad implementation. I urged them not to abandon them, but to re-envision how they were made. Unfortunately, this re-envisioning was one of cynicism and unreasonable corporate greed. It would have been amazing to have masterpieces in Dominaria, to have nostalgia cards from the ancient past, possibly in borders and frames reminiscent of those early days of Magic. This we did not get. The core set, which thankfully returned this year, also did not feature them, although this, too, would have been a good way to juice up a type of set that, while vitally important to the health of the game overall, sometimes only gets a moderate reception from the player base. Nope, masterpieces did not return in the core set either. But they did in Guilds of Ravnica in the form of the Ravnica Mythic Edition, which was essentially Wizards of the Coast making a set of masterpieces themed around planeswalkers, but instead of putting those highly desirable, highly sought-after cards in the booster packs, they were removed from the set entirely and sold separately at an outrageously high price. Not available in any local game store, not available outside the USA and Canada, and only available through the Hasbro online shop. This was a terrible mistake. First, taking masterpieces out of block sets is self-defeating. I can literally hear the boardroom discussion where some suit says, "Why are we just giving them masterpieces for free in sets? Why not sell them separately?" Eventually, with attitudes like this, Wizards of the Coast is going to exhaust both the wallets and goodwill of its player base. And while moves like this are great for short-term profits, I feel they are disastrous for long-term stability and success. But that wasn't the only problem, because if all WotC had done was sell masterpieces separately, even at their outrageously high price of $250, this would have still been mostly okay. You don't have to buy them after all. But they kept the product out of local game stores. They limited it to the United States and Canada, and they offered it through the Hasbro Toy Shop, a laughably bad online storefront that, just as it always has, crashed repeatedly when the set was made available, canceled orders, froze, and otherwise made everyone involved beyond infuriated. Wizards of the Coast may have sold out of Ravnica Mythic Editions, but they did so at the cost of some of their reputation within the player base. Mistakes such as this create anger, mistrust, and overall dissatisfaction among the very people, your customers, that you want to be happy, satisfied, and loyal. Those third quarter profits have already come and gone, but what of next year and the year after? Everyone's already upset with you. And Wizards even tried to make up for this mistake by sending an apology in the form of box toppers to all who tried to purchase a Ravnica Mythic Edition. A generous and I feel very smart, positive move on their part, but also one that ties us into what I feel is the #1 biggest mistake of 2018. Ultimate Masters, or rather, how Wizards of the Coast botched what might very well be one of the greatest products in years. Ultimate Masters in isolation is not just a great product, it is possibly the greatest Masters set ever made. I feel that every aspect of it, save perhaps for the lack of fetch lands, stands head and shoulders above all previous Masters sets, including even the original. It has everything Masters sets should have had and more, including possibly the best limited environment of any Masters set. Sadly, this product was presented to us in the worst possible way, beginning with cost. Offered at an MSRP of $335.76 or $13.99 per pack, it doesn't matter how great a draft experience Ultimate Masters had, it has become the most expensive product ever made for Magic the Gathering. And despite that limited gameplay, despite the plethora of needed reprints, the brilliance of box toppers, it is priced far outside the reach of the majority of players. No matter how good of a bang for your buck or investment that may have been, there is a limit to what people can afford, and this exceeded that limit for most people. But of course, as Wizards of the Coast themselves said, it's not for everyone. Yes, most boxes did not sell for MSRP, thank goodness, and even today you can buy Ultimate Masters in the realm of about $280 per box, but this was the ultimate test of whether Wizards of the Coast, as a company, could make the call between not trying to squeeze every last cent out of their player base, and they made, again, in my opinion, the wrong call. Had this set been offered with no change in MSRP from previous sets, it would have been more than a hit. Would boxes be selling at more than MSRP? Maybe, though I suspect that invisible hand of the marketplace would not place them above what they are now. Would printing more help alleviate this and ensure that they stayed at MSRP? Likely, especially if individual boosters were offered at Walmart and Target and Amazon at MSRP. This should have been offered at the same MSRP as all previous Masters sets. All previous Masters sets, save perhaps Masters 2017, offered too little for too much and failed, I repeat, failed to meet their own goals, to achieve their own mission statement. Ultimate Masters lived up to its name. It was the Ultimate Masters set. Corporates saw this, saw how much people would love this product, want this product, adore this product, and decided to charge more for it, as much as they could. And it worked. The boxes selling at $280 and $300 now did not cut into Wizards of the Coast's profits at all. Only the profits of local game stores and distributors. Q4 was amazing for WotC, and only at the cost, just as with the Ravnica Mythic Edition, of the very lifeblood that has sustained this game for 25 years. But it is not all error and mistake. 2018 also had some of the most amazing things happen in Magic the Gathering, and I'll be talking about those in tomorrow's video. In fact, I want to end by asking you, not what you feel are the biggest mistakes of 2018, but I want you to let me know what you think are the biggest successes to happen in Magic the Gathering this year. What is the best of the best? Let me know in the comments below, and then tune in tomorrow to see if we agree. And this video is brought to you by my and many other people's local game store, Card Kingdom, a brick-and-mortar pillar of this community, as well as the Patreon support of viewers such as you. These are the people that keep Tolarian Community College going and growing strong. So thank you.